Okay, now we are on. Well, good morning again. Thank you for being here. So, really excited. We went live with the press release this morning, and we'll be sharing details what the program launch is all about and what it means to you. So, tomorrow, our show opens on Pier 48. And this is what it looked like about in 1945 or 1940, whenever, right? And at that time, San Francisco was one of the largest ports in the world. And the way shipping was done, they used to use something called bulk break. Essentially, things used to come from the road, like trucks and rails. They used to get unloaded at the port and loaded into ships again. And this is the way shipping had always been done, like hundreds of years, since the Victorian age. As you can imagine, this was not the most efficient way to do things. You needed really a large crew of men to unpack things, put it together again. The ships spent more time at the port than sailing from one place to the other. Things got stolen. Capital was locked up because it was just literally sitting on the dock. So very inefficient, right? And in the mid-50s, in 55, there was a trucking entrepreneur. His name was Malcolm McLean. And he had this great insight. He had this great idea. He was running his trucks between Atlanta or somewhere in the south to New Jersey, and he was really tired of waiting in his truck to unload his stuff so that he can go back and send his next load of goods to the ship. And his idea was really very simple, right? He said, what if instead of unloading everything, if you can take this box and just drop it on the ship? Wouldn't that be a little bit more efficient? Wouldn't you be able to then unload it, do the same thing on the other side? And he actually went and he created a company and made it happen. He called his company the Land Sea Corporation. And really, like what you see today, like you see the container ships today, is really his brainchild. So really, he solved a very simple problem to integrate trucking business with the shipping business. And from there was a lot of ripple effect. A lot of things really rippled from that. It really made a huge difference in shipping, a massive difference in shipping, right? The cost of shipping fell pretty dramatically. The dock workers were about 20 times more productive. Your capital, inventory cost was cut down by half, and so on and so forth. But then, what is more interesting is what it did to the entire landscape. So initially, when Malcolm McLean did these containers, there were no cranes built, specially made for this purpose. There was no ship specially made for this purpose. But because this was such a successful thing, the way the cranes got made, the way the ports were configured changed. So in fact, that's why San Francisco actually went out of business. The port of San Francisco did not survive because they could not adapt to the new technology. And that's why we're able to have our conference there tomorrow, is because Oakland, the port of Oakland across the bay took over. And from there, it changed related industries. For example, it changed insurance. The cost of insurance went down by 600%. And what it really ended up doing was it ended up creating this global economy as we know it. So manufacturing no longer had to be located near the consumption. So manufacturing could be anywhere because shipping costs became so cheap or so low that that was not a consideration anymore. So all from a simple, humble box. So let's look at what's happening in the industrial world today. We got these assets. We got locomotives. We got jet engines. And they're pretty sophisticated as well, right? They got chips. They got sensors. They got all kinds of things, just like our cars do. But they live in their own silo. Nothing is integrated with the IT side. And what we are seeing today, and you heard a lot of stories already, I mean, I mean, throughout this morning, is that now this is becoming part of the enterprise fabric, the IT fabric. And we're going to see the same thing here. In fact, our colleagues at GE Transportation, they're already building these apps. They're already building a lot of solutions, starting from asking a very fundamental question about where is my asset to things like yard planning, people planning, maintenance, predictive maintenance, and so forth. And you can expect to see similar kind of things in every industry as well. So it won't be very far away when something like Amazon Prime, you won't relate like a connected locomotive to Amazon Prime, but you can envision a time when this type of service you can get from these B2C companies will change because of the ripple effect of the industrial transformation. So what does it mean to us, right? I mean, really, the most exciting thing to me personally, and I hope it's for everybody in this room as well, is this is a massive new opportunity. So this is one of the analysts' take on this. As you can see, they already think this is bigger than the consumer or the enterprise world. We actually think that this is underestimating this by an order of magnitude. We actually think this is 10 times larger than what you see out here. But here's the thing. This is really the potential. And the potential is going to come realized through applications. Just like with BlackBerry, you had two applications. You had email, and you could make a call. The iPhone literally has hundreds of thousands of applications. And that's what the digital industrial world needs, like this explosion in the number of apps. So our customers can get what they want and do their digital industrial transformation. So that's why ISVs are so critical to us. That's why we're investing so much into this, to building up this ecosystem. So what we feel, just not just the program, but this is our recipe. We want to have the right strategy, provide you with the right technology, and have the right program in place that brings the two together. So let me spend a couple of minutes on each one of them. So our strategy, in a sentence, is we want to create a marketplace. We want to create a marketplace where our customers can find the solution they need without having to build it. So the catalog that you have today, Harel spoke about it as well, is a start to that, and you'll see a lot of evolution and changes out here, where this will expand to cover other kind of solutions, not only aimed at developers, but complete SaaS solutions as well. The other part of that is really to make ISVs market ready. It goes beyond a particular function or department within GE Digital. It really goes across, we need capabilities and programs across every unit out here, every unit at GE, and we need partners to be intimately involved in every step of the way. And so for those of you who are already onboarded at Tile, you've already worked with Subrata and his team. They do a great job of making sure that technically your solution is secure, it performs, it works correctly, it's got the right SLAs in place. Brianna and her team are doing a great job putting together like the business side of this thing so that we can work with you hand in hand on the contract side, on the pricing side, and so forth. And finally, one of the biggest strengths we have at GE as a company is the scale and reach that we have. And what we want to do is to bring that to you. So for example, how do you take the great application that Luther has built at OHG Analytics, and how do you, the oil well design application, how do you give it to a seller, one of our sellers in Saudi Arabia, so they can make this as part of their refinery solution or something else? How do you connect some of the innovation coming from our ISVs to the GSIs in this room? So Karen's talked about it. Karen Doherty, she is responsible for driving that interlock and those things. So look for more information there. And again, please connect with her as well, so she can share, give your feedback to her on what you're seeing, and also how she's thinking about solving this or solving this for you. So going from strategy to the technology, we've heard a lot about Predix, and we'll hear a lot more in the next couple of days. I just want to highlight a couple of things as it relates to ISVs. The first thing is a lot of the investment we are making in edge, in security, in digital twins, they help you in the sense that they accelerate the time it takes for you to go to market. I have an example later about Intercoms and how they went very quickly in about 10 weeks. It also helps you when you want to sell your solution, because you're running on a certified, like on a cloud that has already gone through that. It makes it so much easier for you to sell your solution to your customers because you know that you've gone through that already. So that's the first thing. The second thing to remember is, or to keep in mind, that we really understand is that ISVs have a different set of requirements from their platform, because you need to be able to upgrade your solutions. You need to be able to support your solutions. You need to be able to monetize it in the way you want, right? So instead of just giving you Predix, the same Predix we give to our customers, we are building in capabilities to make it easy for you to do all of that. An example of that is what we are doing with the BizOps service. So you can set a pricing plan, you can push it out, so we take care of all the metering and all the billing for you. So you can see for more features that way. We actually, I don't know if Alex Hales is here, but Alex joined as a product manager in our Predix thing, and he is 100% dedicated to getting these type of functionality built in, baked into the core of the platform. The final thing is, which is a big thing for all the partners, is the talent. How do you get the talent that you need? There are a lot of ideas, not enough people to go around. So as you've heard, we are investing a lot in the developer community. We are also doing a lot of training and certification. And the best part is this is built on Cloud Foundry. So it's easy for you to take people that have other background and train them on Predix, because Cloud Foundry is, again, a very open framework, open language-based framework or platform. So we talked about the strategy and the technology, but what really brings it together into one package that you can consume as a program? And to talk about that, it's my great pleasure to introduce Sharon Brader, the Director of ISV Programs.
Great. Thank you, Nick. Trained you. Thank you, guys. Great to be here. Great to be a part of this forum, working with wonderful peers and talented partners. We're really excited that this program has all come together. Nick did a wonderful job illustrating for us this ripple effect. It's kind of a great phrase that we like to use, because it's not really a domino. It permeates through so many different industries. And looking at containerization that occurred in the mid-1900s and how that perpetuated into influencing the digital transformation we're all a part of today has just been instrumental. So it's just such a great one of many stories that we can capitalize on when we think about how ISVs are going to contribute to our industry. So with that said, we've made a significant investment, and we listened to our peers in the catalog services team who have done a wonderful job of laying the groundwork for all the technical assessment, the architecture review, the security review, all the marketplace readiness that has to occur in order to get the solutions to the Predix catalog. We listened to them, and we listened to those early adopter partners to figure out, what are the gaps? What is it that you need to nurture growth and catapult that success? So there's an instrumental shift happening. It's evident, right? With IT, the convergence with OT, as well, we're in the early stages of the fourth industrial revolution. With these realities at play, GE Digital, as well as the Predix platform, were established to get ahead of the curve, right? So it's all about getting in on the ground floor right now. And we're launching the ISV program for the sheer fact that we need to provide you guys benefits in order for you to grow your product strategy, in order to generate exposure inside out, right? Across our business units and then across the greater public and markets and geographies. So let's take a little look about how you get started. Where do you begin? We know that you have countless options. We know that there are many tracks you could go down, but we have created one central track to help move you to success. All right, so we're going to start with just some fundamentals. You're in your plan phase, okay? We've built down our program to be chronological, not only with your partner life cycle, but more importantly, a product life cycle. The buck doesn't stop with one solution. We're looking forward to multiple solutions that you folks will bring to market. Commercial solutions for mass or niche, for mass or niche markets that are out of the box, right? They can be used instantaneously. Click subscribe and it's deployed. All across the globe, generating, renowned customer outcomes. And so to do that, we're making it simple to get your foot in the door, to get placed in a tier where you can reap those benefits. So bear in mind, there's no program fee. There is, however, the need for you to have a solution underway, right? Whether that is a great scoped idea that you've presented to us, you have executive sponsorship or an endorsement by someone in our team, or perhaps you're further along. You have an application on another platform, but you know the game changer is to get our combination of physics and analytics, right? And to team up with us in order to penetrate these markets. So you might be looking to port your solution over to our platform, or building it from scratch, perfectly fine. But we need something underway. Further, got to get certified. Predict certification is, crucial for us to ensure that you guys are staffed with the capabilities to really launch your solution, while we help you along the way, of course. And then finally, we just want to know who's the business dev person you'd like us to work with. Who's the lead technical contact that's in charge of that particular solution? Now, when you look at the second table here, I've got an example of ISV contributions. Now, these are for illustrative purposes, and the reason for that, folks, is that I want to keep continuity with the Greater Alliances organization. We have a lot of different partner types. We're up here talking about ISVs today, but we know that this crowd is full of significant SI contributors, resellers, technology partners, and more. So what you can look forward to as we move into December is a much more concrete plan which will advise you on what your tiering will look like, what your contributions will be, how they'll be weighted, so we can set your expectations appropriately. But this is definitely still a good guide and glimpse into what you can anticipate. So I'm going to take a second just to touch on the different tiers, because I know there's going to be questions about this. So above you'll see I reference a tier called Ignite. What the heck is Ignite? It's brand new, and we're pretty excited about it. We have loads of startup companies that come to us, and they've got fabulous ideas. They don't know where to begin, and they start working with certain teams, and it's kind of been all speckled through our various departments. And so what we've decided to do is create a tier that is specific for those startups. As well, it's also unique to companies that maybe don't fall into the startup category, but they're engaged with us in an incubator-like program in some sort of emerging market. Okay, so these again are hand-picked companies that we can nurture and allow them to still reap some benefits early on and climb through the process over time. Certified through Global Strategic, this is for everybody else. This is what you want to strive to get through and maintain. We provide benefits early on, but reward success over time. So as you move up in the tiers, yes, the more benefits you get to reap. So let's take a look at what those benefits are. Let's move into access. So now, there's a lot of information on this slide, I'm well aware. So let me put it in a nutshell for you. When it comes to access, it's all about getting you the right space and environment to collaborate with a number of developers, to get you access to an unlimited amount of microservices, to make sure that you have a Cloud Foundry org to create multiple test or staging environments. So we've created an exclusive development account just for partners, okay? This isn't something you can get off of the public predix.io page. This is exclusively for you. Moving into build, what can we do to help your development cycle? Well, again, I want to touch on a couple key attributes. Don't worry, you're going to be able to see all these menus of benefits on our fact sheet. We're going to have a thorough program guide after Minds Machines that's going to be available to you, so don't worry. You'll see everything, every little detail. But let's hone in on a few. Marketplace certification. This has been touched on by Harel, it's been touched on by Nick, and this encompasses everything our spectacular catalog services team does, Subrata Saha and team, Alex Hales from the Predix platform. This is your guided architecture assessment, your security review. We have a killer security review team that works relentlessly to make sure that your apps are ready to be introduced to our customers, our Predix subscribers, and of course, everything that goes along with just that marketplace readiness, the content associated with your listing, all of the above. So we call that marketplace certification because it's actually specific to certifying your product, not a person, okay? As well, developer webinars. I was happy enough to be a part of our very first of many developer webinars last week. Lothar, who is part of our developer team, did a wonderful job in showcasing very technical tools amongst a collaborative forum, introduced some great affiliates as well, just kind of advanced knowledge and capabilities on using Predix. So this is going to be a series that has already started, and you guys will be exclusively invited to join. Last but not least, dedicated dojos. Depending on the tier that you place and maintain, you will have a dedicated dojo available to you. What is it? This is a hands-on experience. This is where your developers get to sit in a room with one of our very savvy, advanced technical solution advisors. And you go from idea to app within just a few short days. So market. When I started at GE, every partner I talked to, I go, tell me the 3 most important things to you. The number one thing was referenceability. How do I get my brand out there? How do I make myself differentiated? How do I get noticed? Well, we've devised some great ways to do that. Now, when it comes to the market segment, we also like to think about how you scale, how do you monitor your offering? So let's start with that first. So our BizOps services, again, Harel did a wonderful job alluding to this, as well did Nick. We take care of the monetization. There's actually a tool built into our platform so that the subscriber, the purchase, that's all transpiring behind the scenes. We share that information with you, and on top of it, it does the metering of usage. You can understand what those users are doing. You can detect anomalies. You can think ahead about the iterations you want to make to your solution to make it more cutting edge or more adaptable for your consumers. So those tools are pretty spectacular. Now the partner community, crucial. The partner community is your one-stop shop for all your programmatic needs. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the community as I wrap up. Of course, with marketing, social media, right? Twitter, blogs, and so forth. Well, we are now promising that we are going to start plugging you in our social communications. We have a significant following, and you have the opportunity to also get your name in front of those followers. Sell and support, right? This falls under the go-to-market umbrella. So here, again, we've got a significant amount of benefits, honing in on a couple. Let's look at these 3. GU Business Unit Spotlight Series. Bit of a mouthful. But probably one of the most important things, especially when we think about launching the program and getting started. You have a vertical focus, a specialty that you think will be really, really enticing for a specific GE business unit, and that's where you want to start. This is the way forward. We are committing to getting the right audience from that business unit to attend a webinar to get to know your company and your solution. Now, in addition, we're going to constantly be contributing specialty content to our partner community. And amongst that, we'll be making sure you have an insider's view into GE's industrial strategy, which is constantly changing, right? It's adapting, it's evolving, and we want to make sure that you have that perspective so that you can think about how that might influence your very own solution strategy. And of course, something that I'm sure you all want and need, a dedicated account director. Now, based on your tier, you will have a dedicated account director. They will be your liaison. They will endorse your efforts with the cross-functional teams. They will be your spokesperson with inside GE. And they will be your go-to point of contact. The partner community, this is your destination for all things you need, all the programmatic elements of the business. This is where you'll operate. You can raise your hand to get help. You can request your Predicts for Partners development environment that I discussed earlier on in this life cycle. You have the ability to look and see inside that GE industrial strategy. You have e-learning opportunities in there to prep for your Predicts certification, right, to maintain those requirements. There's a lot more in there and will continue to be in there for you guys to review. Before I hand it over to Nick, I just want to leave you with one last thought. And I want to thank you for your time and attention. You know, as you walk into Pier 48 tomorrow, remember the story. Remember the container story, right? I mean, it's a simple metal box. But think about the influence and impact that has had and how digital is intertwined with that. And I'd like you to think about how your commercial solution will disrupt the market, how it'll differentiate within our ecosystem, and how that might change the world and ultimately the ecosystem that we have here at GE. Thank you, guys. Nick?
Thank you, Sharon. That was great. Let's give her a round of applause. She's been working real hard to get this program rolled out. And really, our goal with the program is you should be able to go from idea to revenue in the shortest time possible. And I think we have a really great start with that. But we want to hear from you as well on what you would like to see in the program and some early feedback as well. So where are we today with the ecosystem? Predicts went live in February. I've been here about 4.5 months now, and I got to tell you, I mean, the momentum has been tremendous. We have over 100 partners already engaged with us, ISVs engaged with us, building different kind of very innovative solutions. And I'm going to take a couple of minutes to go through a few of them. We are running a little bit short of time, so I'm going to run through this pretty fast. And many of them, we pointed them out in a press release that went out this morning as well. But I want to start out by, starting with Pitney Bowes. I want to say thank you to them. They were one of our earliest partners. They gave us a lot of feedback and helped us shape some of the program elements as well. So thank you to Doug and Tuan if you're here. Maybe not here? Okay. So the other one, I'm just going to go through this, a couple more. Decision is here. They have built a very cool tool. Is Alex here? Alex is there. I think you should check out the demo of this. What it allows you to do is to take a non-programmer and compose an application with Predicts with their tool. Moby Dio is out here. Yaron is out here. Where's Yaron? So again, there he is. The reason I'm pointing out these folks is these are folks that are your friends because they built this innovative application as an SI. They can get your customers to value much faster. They have digitized the entire service operation part in an asset-heavy industry. Splunk is bringing their machine data intelligence and their analytics to our platform. OAG Analytics has built an application that reduces the time it takes to design an oil well from 2 weeks to 2 hours. Box is bringing content management to our platform. Ericsson, their data integrity and security solutions to the platform. And there are a couple of ISVs here that have gone a step beyond Predix. What they're doing is they're taking data from our GE current products, which is location intelligence and temperature and humidity and other things, and mashing it up to build very innovative solution. Team actually has built a conference room booking application. Every company I worked with, we always had a conference room application. They all sucked. And this is really the next-gen conference room application that actually works. Plexure is taking CRM to the next level. They have IoT-enabled CRM. So you can direct the right offers based on where a person is in the store, on the weather, and everything else. Again, they're bringing data in from GE current devices. And finally, PTV Group, they have live traffic data. They're the leaders in that worldwide. And again, they are mashing that up with bringing that data to Predix so that you can solve problems like traffic congestion, something that we can use out here in the Bay Area. So I want to close out with a story about Entercoms, and you heard about them a couple of times today. And I got introduced to Entercom or Nitin like the second week I was at job out here at GE. And at that time, he was not very, they were doing some work with Anoop and others in the oil and gas, but they were not very familiar with Predix. So I invited Nitin to come to Transform, which he did with his technical and his leadership team. At the end of 3 days, he said, I'm going to use Predix as my platform. I'm all in. And 10 weeks later, they had a solution. And it's my great pleasure to introduce Shannon Warden. She's the VP of Product Management with Digital Thread, reporting to Anoop. And she was one of their first customers. So I want Shannon to share her experience using Entercom product and why she chose them. Shannon.
Thanks, Nick. So just quickly, as you heard, I work for Anoop on the Digital Thread team, and we're responsible for designing, developing, and driving adoption of outcome-based digital thread Predix applications throughout GE and ultimately to our customers. So I wanted to start a little bit on the problem statement that we were trying to tackle. So we have a business, Energy Connections, within GE. Great business when we want to be in. Over 130 years, they've been part of GE in some way, shape, or form. Over $7 billion of revenue, operating over 150 different countries. However, they're facing into pretty tough market challenges. Oil and gas and that sector was going down, and they were seeing low margins. They were having challenges with on-time delivery. And ultimately, their customer satisfaction was going down. So they approached us and said, what can we do to try to get some quick wins? And we wanted to focus really on how do we take their flow business. So it could be spare parts, it could be configure solutions, configure to order solutions, it could be make to stock. And how do we drive that order intake to revenue recognition, that cycle time down, so that they could actually drive an increase in their revenue overall. So we looked down and we said, okay, we need to move quick. And so we wanted to partner with one of our ISVs, and I wanted to give the example of where we're doing just that with Entercoms. So quickly, before I go into the actual solution, I wanted to take a moment to share, what were some of the considerations we had when we were choosing someone to partner with. And there was a number of elements we looked at. I think first and foremost was, we wanted someone that wasn't just selling software, that wasn't just coming and peddling functionality, but they were really looking at outcomes. How can they deliver an outcome to the GE business when they needed it most, right? And in this case, it's increased revenue, customer satisfaction, And ultimately, how do we increase the overall margin of that business? Second, we wanted somebody that was looking past just selling to GE, right? And was really understanding of the broader opportunity out there that we could partner with and say, let's prove it out. We heard a lot about reference customers today, right? We're a great reference customer. Work with us, we can get some outcomes internally, but then more importantly, we can push it out and we can really share it with the broader customer base that's GE. Third, I think a big one, and it was touched on a number of times today, is we wanted someone that looked at descriptive analytics, predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics, and ultimately was getting at the root cause of what was causing some of these problems. They were taking data, applying analytics, bringing functional expertise, and that's something that the team really brought in to help understand what the various levers were that were in force. I mean, if you think about taking an order to revenue and shortening that cycle time, there's a number of different levers that go into that. And then ultimately, how do you model that and how do you simulate that to come up with the outcome that's best for the business at that time, right? And then finally, I think it was touched on by Nick, someone that was really enthusiastic about the platform, right? That really got in there and just adapted to it and said, we're going to do this. So, and then talking with Nitin and the team, I asked him, why did you want to jump on board so quickly? Because I was really amazed with how fast they made the transition. 10 weeks, right? 10 weeks from getting to know and being at their first session to having an app up and running on the platform. And it was, that ability to move quickly and have an app up on a secure, robust, and a scalable platform, being able to provide that in a modular way. So depending on the customer they are working with, the industry they are working with, there's various different scenarios that you want to model, and being able to have a suite of solutions that they can actually apply in different ways, depending on the customer. We heard a lot about access to IoT data, and that's a huge game changer for them, right? Being able to take that in, use it to refine their models, and really start driving even more robust analytics. And then finally, being able to have that access to, the GE customers, the GE market, and opening that up. So overall, it's been a great marriage. We have delivered some pretty quick, fast, and key wins. We've spun up a number of sprints within the energy connections business, and these sprints are delivering outcomes this quarter, right? So it's a matter of weeks, and we're able to impact the bottom line of a business unit in GE when they needed it most. And that's huge. So these sprints are not only delivering those outcomes, but it's also helping us refine those models. What are the levers? How do we need to visualize this information? And ultimately, it's helping us develop an alpha release of the application on Predix that's on target to be delivered next month. This alpha release is then going to help us deliver a beta release as quickly as second quarter of next year. And this application is focused on working with the platforms and the systems that customers already have to be able to do those simulations and understand those different levers to be able to deliver those outcomes. And as part of this, we're also going to be able to very clearly show this transformation function of how the work that we're doing, how it's actually impacting revenue, margin, and ultimately customer satisfaction. So if I could leave you with one thought, I'd say when you're thinking about the partnership, there's a couple of key things, right? Make sure that you're bringing some sort of functional expertise. Bring that expertise and focus in some area. Focus on outcomes, right? It's not about software and selling functionality anymore. It's about the outcomes. So make sure you're actually delivering those outcomes and get on Predix. The faster you move, the further ahead you're going to be. So with that, I'll turn it over to Nick, and he'll tell you what's next.
Great. Thank you, Shannon. That was great. So I just want to close it out All of us will be here the next couple of days, so if you have any questions, please engage with us, me, Sharon. Sharon will also volunteer to talk to you about how, a little bit more detail on digital thread. Look, I started my career in '94, so I'm pretty old with a lot of people out here, but I've always been working for platform companies. And I've been very fortunate to work for some great companies in the past, BA, Salesforce, ServiceNow. But I've never, ever seen a platform take off as quickly as Predix has. The amount of it, Denzel spoke about it this morning. I feel it every day. And I think because everybody, all of us recognize that this is bigger than any, and it really has the potential to change the world. So I'm really excited that you're here today to share that journey with us. So thank you again for your time and attention. So we're going to break for lunch. The lunch is in the back. So thanks again, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Goodbye.